the main piece of work that I'm involved with for All Digital. So I'm going to go into it a little bit. This is I love this image. It's a World War II promotional image showing women doing engineering, and the strapline there is, we've learned new skills before. This is what this project is about. It's about helping people. Yes,
do you share already your presentation?
I thought I was. Am I not?
I'm not sure, but I'm not seeing it. And because you talked about an image, I thought maybe it's your shirt, but maybe you talked about.
No, it's not my shirt. You're no longer spotlighted. What have we got to do? Dismiss that, dismiss that. I thought I was. It says I'm sharing my screen. It says I'm sharing. Let me stop sharing and start sharing again. So, do you see that?
Yes.
You do. Okay, that's a good start. Thank you for interrupting me. Very helpful. Okay, so is it actually going to show as a slideshow? Come on. Yep. Okay, so that should now be full screen.
Perfect.
Yay. Okay, hurrah. Okay, so the project is about helping people to understand, helping them to deal with the issues of kind of transitions as a result of digital transformation. And when we started the project, and this is important because this is the lessons workshop, when we started the project, we were talking about people whose jobs were at risk from automation or AI or the Internet of Things or robotics. And as the project proceeded, then things have changed. So the kind of strapline of this image, we've learned new skills before, is really kind of important about this. This is helping people to understand they can learn digital technologies and it's not an alien thing, learning. So I want to very quickly go over the project phases. And so we did, and I'm going to talk about a couple of these bits in a moment. Research. The start of the project, as you often do in European or any project really, you do a bit of context analysis research at the start, and we did an employer survey, which I'm going to show you a little bit about in a moment. Then we spent, this was last year, we spent the summer developing the curriculum, building a platform, building the plan for the evaluation, and then we began the training in January. And then it stopped in January. And everything kind of went on hold. Italy had started the three project partners are in Italy, France, and Germany. I'm going to talk about those in a minute. But Italy had just started training when COVID happened, and so that had to stop. And it then stopped until basically through February, April, May. We were looking again at the whole project. We reprogrammed it for an online delivery, and I think Nenja is going to talk about that. Some of the partners started again in June and July, did bits and pieces before the summer, and have carried on after the summer. And just to give you a very quick update on the numbers, so the target for the project in terms of an understanding of kind of getting some metrics out of it, there's 300 people to be trained, of which 225 are to complete. And so far, 175 have started and 118 have completed out of the 3 countries through, at the moment, I think, that have started. So we're kind of halfway through. We should have already almost, well, we should be almost finishing by now, but the project has been extended. So there's lots of stuff that's had to happen as a result of all of that. But I want to take us back to the start and just explain a little bit about what it's trying to do. It's trying to build a curriculum for people whose jobs were at risk as a result, and this is back in May 2019, as a result of any of the sorts of threats that you see here. So sorry, we asked different questions. Any of the sorts of questions, any of the sorts of threats to do with AI, Internet of Things, blockchain, augmented reality, automation, big data, all of those things, are those things that are kind of at risk, disrupting your sector? So we ask these questions of employers. And the thing that came out as a clear runaway leader was digital working tools is a big thing. And again, when we asked them more detailed questions about what is it that they might need, we looked at teamwork and collaboration, communications, content and data management, all the sorts of stuff that we are doing on a regular basis in our jobs is the sort of stuff that businesses at the time thought they were going to need help with. And so we built this curriculum that was based on this and on a piece of research, a couple of statistics that Empirica had done some research on, which basically said that 55% of digital jobs are not in the ICT sector, and 84% of those digital jobs are not highly qualified. So in terms of moving people into a sort of safe space in terms of their employability, putting them into a kind of digital support role that helps people to do all of these teamwork and collaboration, communication, all that sort of stuff, is the sort of thing that employers wanted. So we developed a curriculum, which at the time initially, and we're going to show you how it's simplified later, but initially we came up with the idea that there was maybe 3 streams of curriculum that could be there. A kind of, over here you've got a communications kind of manager type person, and a project kind of manager, and a sales kind of manager. Maybe they weren't managers, maybe they were assistants, because they're lower level, they're not highly qualified people. These are entry level jobs that we were trying to build a curriculum for. So we looked at those 3 sort of strands, and ultimately we them down, and I'm going to let Nenja talk about that, into the digital assistant. But essentially it was about looking at all of the applications that you see here, all of the stuff that people do in their day-to-day jobs all the time. So that's what we set out to do, which was to build a curriculum based on some research that we'd done with employers, based on some understanding that we had of what the demand was out there. These are the organizations: Stiftung Digitale Chancen in Germany, Fondazione Patricio Paoletti in Rome and Italy, and Simplon in France. Collectic have built the learning platform, and Y Internet are doing the evaluation. Now I'm going to introduce now Louisa, and she is from JP Morgan, who have had a lot of interest in this project and a lot of interest in other areas. And I think if I just end this show temporarily and switch back to this, I think now you can take the floor for 5 minutes, Louisa. So Louisa is from JP Morgan and is going to tell us about why you are interested in all of this. So
thank you very much. So thanks again, Ian and Nenja and the team for organizing the workshop. I'm very pleased to be here today. So a bit following what Ian said, if we look back at the beginning of the collaboration between All Digital and the partners and JP Morgan, when digital SkillShift was actually designed back at the end of 2018, it was a quite different world. And since then, as we all know, a lot has changed, and many of the challenges that this program tried to address have dramatically deepened, making this initiative even more timely to ensure that adults transitioning the labor market can really prepare for the future of work and gain the skills they need to remain competitive. So ICT roles are still some of the hardest to fill vacancies across Europe, and unemployed adults often lack the skills to access these opportunities. So even before COVID-19, digital upskilling and digital reskilling were really at the core of JP Morgan corporate responsibility commitment. And this commitment is really looking at supporting and investing communities and help the most vulnerable population to join and participate in the rewards of a growing and increasingly digital economy. As such, we are really delighted to partner with All Digital, Stiftung Digitale Chancen, Simplon in France, and Fondazione Patrizio Paoletti as part of Digital SkillShift. And this program is part of a much broader Banks initiative that is called the New Skills at Work, and it was launched back in 2013 and renewed in 2019. And through this initiative, JP Morgan is really continuing to invest $350 million globally to develop, test, and scale innovation to really try to help individuals with the skills they need to be successful in the changing economy. And this program specifically complements other European-wide initiatives that are supported by JP Morgan and that are more looking at collecting and leveraging data to inform program design and policies, such as a program coordinated by Nesta in the UK called Mapping Career Causeways. And this really looks at the future of work implication for vulnerable workers. Which jobs are at risk of automation in different countries, in the UK, in France, in Italy, and in Germany. And we also have a quite interesting research led by the OECD that is trying more to look at the challenges that adults encounter when approaching career guidance systems to support them in career transitions. And our hope is really that the learnings from Digital SkillShift will help other organizations, to scale your curriculum and to also design and improve their own digital upskilling and reskilling programs for adults. Also leveraging some of the learnings from other programs that the JP Morgan is supporting at the country level. As I was saying, digital skills are really a core part of many of the programs that we fund. So, for instance, in France, in addition to Simplon, we also partner with Open Classrooms to support early school leavers to access apprenticeship in the IT sector. We also work with Social Builder to help more specifically women to access digital jobs and also development opportunities in the coding area. In Italy, we work with IFOA, CEDEL to support more specifically young NEET to access entry-level jobs in the IT sector. In Germany, we partner with Joblinge, another organization on similar topics. So what is absolutely clear to us is that digital skills are really fundamental. And this can be to find a first job or to progress in the career or to access information. And what happened with COVID is that this has been accelerated and digital has become something that is like a universal need. And those without the digital skills and the digital access are also those who are struggling more from the pandemic. So that's the reason why JP Morgan is also addressing this issue as an employer and is committed to prepare its workforce for the future of work through different initiatives. So for instance, the JP Morgan Chase technology team has moved to a skills-based recruiting for the software engineer program. So that November 2020 intake will welcome individuals to apply, also that have obtained their foundational technology background in non-traditional ways, including and not limited to technology bootcamps, workforce development programs, community colleges. And another initiative that I thought could be interesting is the Skills Passport. That is this development tool that helps, again, technology employees to assess their skills and also provide tailored learning suggestions based on the current skills and the role requirements, as well as skills recommended for other jobs families or other job roles. So once more, we're really, really happy to support all digital and partners, and we hope the Digital SkillShift will prove a successful model for digital upskilling. And thanks again, and I look forward to participating in the workshop.
Ian, you are muted.
We can't hear you, yeah.
I think someone did that because we could hear you.
You're still muted.
Unmute. Yeah. Okay, yeah. There we go. Yeah. Sorry, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, wrong mute-looking button. So, okay, thank you, Louisa. We're going to take some questions now, because we don't want to kind of save all the questions up. If anybody has got any questions, and I know that I really quickly summarised the project and very, very briefly. So if anybody has got any questions either about the project or for Louisa, please raise your hand now. Borat should be looking for raised hands. I'm looking for raised hands. We had hoped for more, and therefore we're well and truly, we're well staffed for such a role. Okay. Well, I think I'll kind of just, I've got a little question, which is, I think for Louisa, which is relating to the, I mean, I've been to a couple of workshops about the career causeways, which I find a really fascinating topic in terms of mapping the way you are, well, not you, but the way Nesta are mapping jobs at a really kind of a micro level to other jobs, so that people can see this sort of the journey they might have to take from one job to another job, and how far away it might be in terms of your skill set that you need to gain. Is there, my question is basically, is there a time scale for that project? Is there any more that you can tell us about how long that project might take, or what the outcome of that might be?
Sure. Yes. So at the moment, Nesta has run a couple of workshops with practitioners, and plus they have used their own data, and they're working on a report that will be public and should be available by the end of this year.
Okay.
So happy to circulate the report with you and the partners, and then you can just put it on a link on your website, because it's going to be a public tool. And as I was saying, the research is specifically looking at 4 countries, so UK, France, Italy, and Germany, and exactly as you were mentioning, really the aim of the program is to identify jobs that are at risk, what are the skills that the workers have, and what are similar job families that with those skills people could progress into. Yeah, we hope we hope that the information is going to be as actionable as possible, and again that will help other organizations as well as policymakers to inform their policy and their also upskilling. We also have another program that I didn't mention that is with the CSR Europe. And this is looking more at low-skilled workers that have a job, but whose roles are at risk of automation. And so looking at what, from an employer's side, companies can do to help these specific workers to upskill and reskill. Also in this case, there will be some resources published, and the time frame is similar. So early next year, there should be some resources around that. I guess what we are trying to see, is looking at adults that are at risk of unemployment, as well as adults who are in the labor market but whose jobs are at risk of disappearing, and try to work with both those groups.
Okay, thank you. That's great. Boris, have you seen any raised hands? Any?
Yes, actually, Lorraine.
Okay.
She wrote the question in the chat. It seems it took 4 months to restart training online. I assume that she would like to ask, does it mean changing the curriculum and training the participants? But Loretta, please feel free to jump in with audio or add additional note to the question in chat.
Well, I mean, I will answer that very quickly, and if you want to add further kind of detail to that, you can. But yes, it took us. We spent quite a lot of time just trying to work out what we needed to do, and whether we needed to go along an online process. So there was a long period before we could even really make a decision. Okay, so you have unmuted yourself, so go for it, please. Or you did unmute yourself. So yeah, carry on with your question. Nope, you're still on mute. Okay. I'll assume that you just need a bit more information about the process that we went through. We did have a lot of discussion, didn't we, Nenja, about how to proceed, whether we should just wait and see what was going to happen, whether it was going to. We just didn't know at the time how the whole thing was going to pan out. Ah, you've managed to unmute yourself. Hi, Loretta.
Ne, bet aš jų negirdžiu.
No, you're definitely unmuted. Hello.
Aš girdžiu jį, bet labai tyliai.
But she cannot hear us, maybe?
Maybe not.
Yeah. I just can agree with you, Ian. The decision making took us a while because we were hopeful in the beginning that we could do the course as we had planned, right? And not change it to an online training. Loretta now, maybe?
Well, I'm not sure you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, hello to everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
You know, it's a luxury to see you here. Really, we miss, this general summit, really, and meeting people. And why I'm joining, this session, because, I think every second project done with digital skills, came with the same situation, changing direct training, switching online. So I was just interested if, I understood that it took 4 months for this project, to restart training. If I understood correctly.
Yes.
Because changing curriculum, so it meant, that the curriculum actually was the same, but you had to put it on the platform or?
Nenja, do you want to answer that?
I was just interested, in the changes you made.
Sure.
Yeah, you're right. We changed more the methodology because we had planned to have a blended learning, so to have content in a learning platform, so in Moodle, and then we had planned to have extensive face-to-face trainings because we actually thought that it is important for the topic, and I will talk about this later, to have the people work in groups and to have this kind of project work simulated in the training. And so now the biggest question was, how will we do it online? Because the people will not be in the same room. And as I said before, I think it took us a while to just assess the situation and see and hope that we can still have the training as we planned. And then suddenly we realized, okay, there will be no point and we have to change it to only online training.
Mm-hmm. And one more question regarding participants. I think they didn't feel very well at the very beginning because you needed some time to train them how to do training online. Or you wrote instructions sent to them by email, or?
Okay, so one part is that from the beginning, we said that our participants are not the ones who have no digital skills. So they should have some kind of level, which was then good for us because these kind of participants are able to write us emails, to log into Zoom, for example. And all the rest, we kind of, and I will show you some videos actually that say this. We had the kind of method to throw the people into the cold water and let them swim a little bit. So really say, okay, try to do as much as you can with the tools, and we will guide you, but you have to just try it out because that's what we do all the whole day, right? We just try out tools and then somehow we learn how to use them.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think motivation is very, very important here.
That's true, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you managed then, and you used Zoom, you said, yeah?
Yeah, we used Zoom. Should I just continue to show my presentation, Ian? Because I think that many of these questions will hopefully he answered, and then we can talk about this later as well.
Yeah,
indeed,
great.
Absolutely.
Great.
So,
okay,
you start sharing your screen.
I start exactly. Someone has. Sorry. No, I have the rights now. Everything is fine, and. Okay, I'm sorry. I would like to share my screen, but I have not the option that I want here.
Yeah.
And so we see that digital skills are something that we need. No, this is not what I need. I need I cannot see the presentation here. Yes. Or Ian, maybe you just share your screen again and I will let you know.
Okay, I'll do that.
The only pity thing would be that I cannot show
videos,
you
the 3 videos. I've only got 2 of them, I think.
We need them.
Yeah, I know.
But I can send you the links otherwise.
Yeah, where's the
I tried again. I cannot see. I think it's my problem here.
Sorry, hold on. It's just refusing.
Sorry, I have it now. Sorry.
Okay.
No, wrong one.
Yay.
Yeah, you can see something, but now you cannot see what I want you to see. Sorry. Okay, I'm really sorry. Okay, so hopefully this works now.
Yes.
Okay,
Yay.
so you can see now the slide that you, that shows you the competences of the digital assistant, because Ian said before that what we did was a long way from coming from the idea for whom we want to create, for which role we want to create this curriculum. And then we settled with digital assistants. So the people who should come out of the of our training, they have the skills to be a project assistant, a digital assistant. And then it took us a while to actually identify what kind of concrete competences that means, right? Because there are so many tools, there are so many competences that we need in our daily work, actually, because we are a kind of digital project managers, if you want, that we had to focus on some specifics that they really need to apply then with after our training for jobs. So before going into the tools, we said it is very important that the participants know how project work is been done. So we said we want them to have really to know the roles, the tasks, the terminology, what is a Gantt chart, what is a budget, what is our SMART goals, what is the project cycle, also, what are their roles in a project work? So, for example, we said there are formal roles, project manager, project assistant, and so on, but also what are roles that you just take over because of your competences and your personality. So, for example, we used Belkin to deal with that. So the first step was this. And then we thought, okay, now we have the idea what is a project manager or a project assistant, what kind of tools do they use in projects? And of course, there are many collaboration tools. And what we did was then, because we had Moodle, the learning platform, we kind of presented everything from making a calendar, making some appointment in a calendar and invite people to Microsoft 365. So Teams was there, Trello was there, Zoom, Skype, everything. We described how this works, and we put there a lot of material and YouTube tutorials and so on. So when the people want to dig deep into this kind of topics, they can on Moodle. But what we did then is, and I will say this later because we didn't have so much time in the during the course, because we only had a few hours with them together, we said here the people have to really focus on 1 or 2 specific tools, and we will train this with them in the course, during the course. Then our third module was about social media. So from like internal communication, we then went to external communication, and we said it is important for someone like us, and I think you have probably the same feeling when you work in a smaller organization, there's not social media department or I don't know, PR department. So we do like everything, right? So when we work in projects, we also do the social media. So we say, okay, a project assistant should also know about this. They should know about how to make an account, how to deal with an account, how to post some kind of postings, and how to see what are the numbers behind this. And then, because this is not enough, we said you should also be able to actually work on websites. So we had a module in which they learned how to deal with a content management system, and how to create a newsletter. And in the end, what is a little bit together with all of this is that we always in our projects need infographics, flyer, we need posters. So we said, okay, as the 5th module, like the 5th content, you also need to learn how to do all of that. And I think that shows actually how broad this kind of curriculum was. And to explain this to you in the words of a trainer of us, I would like to show you a video. And now I will use my screen sharing skills again. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So let me know if you can hear it. If not, I have to make the switch again. No? No, you cannot hear, or you can hear?
Not yet.
Es geht noch nicht los. Aber mir spielt's. Okay, it's playing in my screen, but in yours not. That's interesting.
No, it's not.
Oh, if it's running now. Okay, just to make this fast and don't have too many troubles here, I would like to share the link of the video in the chat as well, and then I will try again. But if you don't, if you cannot see it, please open the link and maybe watch the video by yourself. Let me try again. Oops. So how is it? Are you through with the video? Give me a short. Okay, Loretta said yes. Perfect. Then I shared my screen again, and you should see the presentation, I hope. And I really liked that our trainer said in the last part that that we have a lot of meetings, which is very present at the present. And I think that shows also how we are actually now dealing with so many meetings, and we didn't want to make it too much online training for the participants, because it's exhausting. You cannot follow for 3-4 hours in an online workshop. So we decided that we will have 2 times per week online trainings, and we will have each time there are 2 hours. And at one day on Tuesdays, we have 1 hour more. So in total, 3 hours of tutoring for those who have general questions, who want to dig deeper into one topic, and or just need some help. And as I said before, apart from these now 6 meetings, we have the self-learning on Moodle. And to tell you a little bit about our method, here you see below there how we scheduled the meetings. So what we always did is we had an introduction to the topic, for example, here in meeting 1, project work. Then we explained the tasks for the next meeting, which the people had to do until the next meeting. Then in the beginning of the meeting, they had to present the task. Then we introduced the next topic, collaboration, for example, explained task number 2 related to collaboration. And then the participants did this task for the 3rd meeting, and so on. So it was always they present their task from last time, we introduced a new topic, and they had another task. And from meeting 2, we started with group work, because as I said before, we wanted to make sure that the people have this already use collaboration tools. That's one part, of course, already use this kind of tools that we learned in the meeting 2, but also have this feeling of a project work, maybe have different roles. And you could see really easily from the start that in the groups there were always different roles, as I said, because based on their competences, based on their personalities, it was very interesting to see. And yeah, as I said before, what we used here, because we only had 2 hours, is a lot of just learning by doing. And I have another video that explains this very well, this time not from a trainer, but from one of our participants. And so I will try again to share the screen with you. If this doesn't work, I will send you the link again. So bear with me for a while. And then I hope.
Wie gesagt, ich bin Sabine Lieb, ich komme aus der Nähe von Nürnberg, wohne inzwischen nicht in Deutschland, sondern in Barcelona. Und ich habe an dem Kurs mitgemacht, weil ich schon länger jetzt nicht mehr in einem Angestelltenverhältnis bin oder in einem festen Arbeitsverhältnis zum Team. Und ich wollte einfach sicher gehen, dass ich sozusagen irgendwie nicht so den Faden verliere in Sachen Teamarbeit oder ja, digitale Skills.
Was hat dir besonders gut an dem Kurs gefallen?
Ich mochte, wie der Kurs strukturiert war. Also zum einen waren die Themen von vornherein klar und gegeben. Und zum anderen konnten wir trotzdem auch immer so ein bisschen individuell irgendwie das mitgestalten und Fragen stellen dazu, was uns halt mehr interessiert hat. Und generell war das halt ein sehr schönes, ja, dieses regelmäßige Zusammenkommen, die Check-ins machen, gucken, wie man sich gefühlt hat bei den Aufgaben und zwischendurch halt einfach, was schön war, dass es sehr so explorativ war. Ne? Der Kurs konnte natürlich jetzt nur in kurzer Zeit ein paar Sachen anreißen, aber es hat dir das Gefühl gegeben, ah ja cool, so schwer ist das gar nicht. Ich kann jetzt auch irgendwie selbstständiger auch weitermachen in dem Rhythmus und das war schön.
Konntest du das, was du im Kurs gelernt hast, schon anwenden praktisch?
Zum Beispiel arbeite ich auch in einem Verein mit meiner Familie, mit Freunden und generell einfach, wenn man dann die Treffen hat, zum Teil, also meistens über Zoom, weil das im Moment halt sehr beliebt ist, aber ich habe zum Beispiel auch ein Google Meet dann mal ausprobiert und halt andere Sachen und da hatte ich einfach so das Gefühl, ich habe so ein gewisses Grundverständnis, das irgendwie leichter ist. Also, oder ich habe mich an Sachen erinnert, wie zum Beispiel unsere Check-ins und so ein bisschen Spiele und Funktionen.
Also wie war das für dich, diesen Kurs nur online zu machen?
Also ich persönlich fand es ganz gut und ich fand es in der Hinsicht positiv, weil es darum ja auch ein bisschen in dem Kurs geht und es war wirklich wie so ein bisschen Learning by Doing. Also, dass man genau diese Tools dann auch nutzt. Und das war sozusagen nicht aus dem Kontext heraus, sondern es hatte halt dann diese zwei Seiten. Also einmal, wir besprechen es theoretisch oder probieren irgendwie ein Projekt aus, aber wir machen das auch gerade. Also wir müssen es auch in dem Moment nutzen zur Kommunikation und um uns zu verständigen. Und ich fand das eigentlich super so.
Ja. So, sorry. Now I'm back again and I'm sharing again my presentation with you. Because I would want to talk with you about something more. What we did to have a really, let's say real life experience is from the meeting on when we talked about social media, we used some kind of fake, let's say, organizations. So each group got one organization with which they had to work the whole time, and they had to do the task for this organization. So, for example, they had to create a social media account and make a concept. They had to do a website. They had to create flyers and so on, and use all the collaboration tools during the whole time. We had one construction company, as you can see on the left, it's Fake Bau. Then we had an NGO, Good Illusions, and a fake restaurant is Virtual Food. The participants got from us on the right, you can see it, a fact sheet with a logo and color codes. So they were actually well equipped to build the company up, but also were free if they wanted to change something. If they, as a company, for example, decided that Good Illusions needs one more color in their logo, that was fine with us as well. So it is about fun for them and about creativity at the same time. And then I would like to show you really shortly how our Moodle course has looked. This is just the main course site. You can see we have forums, we have a short introduction note. Then you can see here all the modules. If you click on the tiny arrow in the right, then they will drop down and you can see all the contents. And for example, one of the contents, like a tiny book, let's say, you can see here on the right side, you have a menu, and then they could really go into it. And as you can see, this is just one material of one module, and there were several per module and several modules. So in terms of the content, we actually had a lot. And the people not always went through everything. In the end, we always knew, okay, who was really diving deep into the Moodle course and who, let's say, maybe just did what they had to do. But that's something that we offered them. Also, still, if participants are finished, they can always go back to Moodle and check the content and read something. So it's up to them in the end. Okay, and then I have another video for you. And then actually I am through with my presentation, and I would like you to see another participant from us who also answered the question what we could have done better.
Hallo, mein Name ist Katharina, ich bin 27 Jahre alt und ich habe an der Weiterbildung Digitales Arbeiten im Büro der Stiftung Digitale Chancen teilgenommen.
Hallo Katharina, schön, dass du dabei warst. Wir möchten dir gerne heute ein paar Fragen stellen, zum Beispiel, warum hast du an der Weiterbildung teilgenommen?
Ja, aktuell bin ich arbeitssuchend und ich weiß aber, dass die digitalen Kompetenzen immer wichtiger werden. Also es gibt fast keinen Job mehr heutzutage, wo man nicht auch digital arbeiten muss. Und ich habe mir sozusagen von der Weiterbildung erhofft, dass ich noch etwas dazulernen kann. Ich kenne mich schon mit einigen digitalen Tools aus, aber andere, die waren auch neu für mich und habe dann sozusagen ja, neue Erfahrungen und neue Einblicke erhalten.
Super, das freut mich. Was hat dir denn sonst noch an der Weiterbildung gut gefallen und wo sagst du, das könnten wir vielleicht noch besser machen?
Also insgesamt hat mir sehr gut gefallen, dass jeder Teilnehmer etwas dazu beitragen konnte. Es gab immer offene Gesprächsrunden oder auch einzelne Gruppen, wo man dann sich austauschen konnte. Wer mehr wusste, konnte dem anderen was zeigen. Wer weniger wusste, konnte fragen. Also ich fand diesen Austausch sehr wichtig und dafür hat man auch sehr viel Zeit bekommen. Was man vielleicht noch verbessern könnte, es waren sehr unterschiedliche Teilnehmer mit unterschiedlichem Wissensstand. Und ja, man könnte vielleicht 2 Kurse draus machen, da insgesamt sehr viele Tools angesprochen wurden, sehr viele nützliche Tools. Aber auch ja, für jemanden, der jetzt die zum ersten Mal hört oder auch zum ersten Mal damit arbeitet, ist das sehr viel Stoff auf einmal. Da könnte ich mir vorstellen, dass man da 2 Kurse draus macht und dann weniger Stoff in ein Modul packt sozusagen.
Und konntest du bereits das Gelernte anwenden und wenn ja, wie und wo?
Ich konnte das Gelernte tatsächlich bereits anwenden und zwar habe ich einen eigenen Podcast und dafür habe ich ein Instagram-Profil erstellt und bespiele das jetzt regelmäßig mit Fotos und ja, Werbung zu meinem Podcast. Und das nächste Ziel ist, eine eigene Webseite für den Podcast zu veröffentlichen.
Super, das hört sich klasse an. Okay, so as you can hear, she gave us really constructive also criticism because she said that the course is really, it has a lot of content and for some people it is hard to be just thrown into it and maybe some need more guidance. But well, that is good to know and we are still testing this course and if we decide to go forward with it in the future, that might be some lessons learned to have maybe one that is more guided for people who have need more digital skills still and need more guidance and have one course where you can throw people just into the cold water. Okay, Ian.
Hi, thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Good, okay. Thank you. Have anybody got any questions? We're going to have a couple of minutes chance for some more questions and then we're going to go into some interactive. So I'm looking to see if I'm seeing participants.
Maybe you can introduce, participants who were the people You know from where? What was the age?
Okay.
Approximately.
That is a good idea. So in our case, we had actually people from almost all age groups because it is a course for people who then will be employed. So who are now looking for a job or are in a job but have the risk of losing it because of COVID-19 or anyway the transformation, as Ian said it before. We actually focused on people that are still in the working age. But in this age, we had requests from people who are just out of school, so 19 years old till actually 70, but as I said, that was not what we wanted. So, but until 50, 57, 59, everything in between. And interestingly, we have more, we had always more women than men. In all of the courses, we try to balance it, but we have much more requests from women. In all the courses, we had like 12 or 15 participants, and 2 or 3 were men. And not, as I said, not everyone was unemployed, but many were looking for a job or in between or doing some like freelance work at the moment. And then we had also people who are working, but still interested and still in need of this kind of skills.
What about unemployment agency? Maybe you were in touch with them?
Yes, of course, this is a good question, Loretta. Yeah, we were in touch with them. In Germany, unfortunately, the case is that the formal unemployment agency cannot work with organizations and training providers who are not accredited. And this process to become accredited is very expensive and very long, and it didn't make sense for us. But we worked with, I would say, informal employment agencies. It's probably not the correct word, but they are actually organizations who do this a similar job, and so we work with them to receive participants.
Okay, we've had a second question. I want to just sort of, I want to just add a little bit to what you've said.
Yes. Sure.
The 3 countries are not the same. So the curriculum is largely the same. But the way that each country and each partner is delivering it is different. So in Italy and in Germany, they both used the Moodle and they've used the same curriculum. In France, they've used their own platform with the same curriculum. And the delivery methods, we've left it up to the organizations to do it however they feel best. So it's not a kind of one size fits all thing that we've tried to produce. We've recognized the fact that got different approaches. Loretta, your question about employment agencies, absolutely. And each partner has had a very different approach to working. Some are kind of directly working with them, others are working with them more kind of loosely. But we've had another question, which I'm just going to read out from Gabriella. I'm interested in organising training like this for civil servants. Do you have any experience with that? Do you think your training can be targeted to civil servants? I mean, my initial response would be yes, it probably can be. It's a fairly kind of, they're a fairly standard set of tools for anybody using happens next. So I'm not sure that completely answers your question, but I think at least it kind of gives you a sense that yes, I think it is fairly adaptable for any sector really, and most of the tools we're talking about are actually pretty standard business tools. So I'm going to now try and take control. I don't think we've got any more questions. I don't know if that has fully answered your question, Gabriella, but we can always follow up afterwards. So now we are going, I'm going to try open share tray, go back to the PowerPoint, and now the interactive session it says on my screen. So can you see what I'm sharing? And now the interactive session, yes? Okay, so Nenja is nodding. That tells me that, so we're a bit late. Oh, no, wrong thing. We're a bit late, but I wanted to try and kind of wake everybody up a bit. And if my shirt hasn't done that already, the idea is that we're going to get a bit interactive and talk to you and listen to you and hear from you. But I wanted to start that with something else. And so for that, we're going somewhere else entirely. And it's kind of part of what this whole workshop is about, which is about lessons learned from. Oh, man, come on. No. And it's decided that it's not going to play. Lessons learned from COVID land. And before anybody throws a wobbly at me for destroying the European flag, I got this graphic off a European Commission website. Okay, right. So we're going to a place where it's all a bit crazy, where, like, for example, me, I've got still got lockdown haircut. And it's a place that's not very far from here, COVID land. It's not very far from now. It might be where you are. There is ongoing virus outbreaks. There's online working. There's automation. And AI and robots are driving both unemployment and employment and the skills that we all need. And this meme here is an example of, this is the top result for, if you Google working from home meme. It's shut. Man, it's not going to do what I want it to do. Click, try. Okay, it's a scary place for very many people. Work fast or I'll replace you with AI. Everybody is afraid of being replaced. And there are companies out there who are actually, they're trading on that. But even the robots are losing their jobs. This is a story from last year about robots in America losing their jobs. Unless, of course, they decide to take a low-paid cleaning job, cleaning up after us. And the fact that we've spent all this time and effort building these amazing robots, and all we do is get them to clean the floor, it's astonishing to me. And this little story here I love, because this comes out of California, University of Southern California, suggests that if you really want robots to work really hard, you program them to constantly fear death. So, okay, what does that tell us? It tells me that my keyboard does not do it. So, anyway, we're living in a slightly crazy time. We started this project, and the biggest risk to jobs was all of these sorts of things like AI and automation and robotics and all of that. But halfway through it, we had a completely different scenario, and COVID and social distancing became a new driver in finding out about the skills we really need. So I'm going to try and just end that show because it doesn't like it at all, and switch to something that I've created. A bit like Mentimeter, but it's oh, hello, sharing is paused. It says I'm paused. Stop sharing, start sharing. Why does it do this? Okay, there we go. So I'm hoping you can see that we are now going into Mental Meter, which is a bit like Mentimeter, but only more mental. And please, no, why does it want me to do that? Click every time. So I now want you, and this is where you're allowed to pick up your phone or use your laptop, to go to menti.com and use the code 6453673. Okay, so I want you to go to menti.com. Get your phone out, use the code 6453673. So I'm hoping that you will see, and you should see, two questions that are here. The first question is, which jobs are most at risk from automation? So Can you, where is my shared window? Oh, for goodness sake, it's not doing it again. Stop sharing, share. Right, okay, so here we go. So this is the first question. There's two questions. Which jobs are most at risk from automation? Okay, I've had one person so far tell me they think manufacturing is at most at risk of automation. Okay, that's good. And another one. Come on, keep going, keep going. There's at least, oh yeah, lots of you thinking manufacturing. Okay, keep going. We'd hoped that we'd have 40, 50 people in this workshop, and this would be filled with dots. Oh, come on, come on, someone pick something different. You can't all pick manufacturing. Yes, you can. I know literally you can, but okay, so there is the first question. Come on, there's a few of you still haven't. Yep. Oh, for goodness sake. All right, well, you all think manufacturing is the most at risk from automation. That's very interesting, actually. That's an interesting sort of little picture. Maybe some of you thought that you just agreed with everyone else. I don't know. But okay, so I'm now going to go on to the second question. Oh, hello. Someone's gone for retail. See, I don't know where it's coming from. It's coming from the corner, slightly magically. So we've had 10 people. I don't know how many people we've got in the group right now, but that sounds like about right. And everybody can do this. I think there were a few extra on top of that. But okay, I'm going to go on to the next slide, the second question. So this was the first question. Which jobs are most at risk from automation? And everybody really went for manufacturing. So here, oh Lord, it's not now. Second slide. No, doesn't want to do it. Right. So which jobs are most at risk from social distancing? I'm hoping you can now see this on your screens if you are in the Menti still. So it's the same set. Okay, we've got hospitality pinged in. So these are which of the jobs most at risk from social distancing. So this is i.e. now. Okay, we've got cultural kicking in. Hospitality, manufacturing is nowhere to be seen. Cultural, yes. Okay. Come on, come on. It's the same bunch, same answers: utilities, retail, hospitality, cultural, construction, tech, and manufacturing. Okay, so you're all split between hospitality and cultural. Okay, right, I think that's probably the lot. So a big kind of cluster between hospitality and cultural. Right, that kind of worked, except for me clicking. Right, so I'm now going to try and click again. And where is my shared window? It keeps asking me, where is my shared window? My shared window is right where I left it. So let's go back to that. So I'm hoping you can see my screen again now and the presentation and my fabulous. There we go. So we've asked those two questions. So why did we ask those two questions? Well, I looked at two sets of data. One was from 2018, which was a bunch of surveys that were done by The Economist, CEDIFOP, and the OECD, and they looked at, and I can't tell whether you can see beyond my little window. They looked at what, in terms of automation, was doing to to jobs. And these were the ones that were most affected: utilities, construction, agriculture, forestry, fishing. And on the other one, food preparation, construction, cleaning, driving, agriculture. So there was a whole bunch of stuff there. Manufacturing was up there. I know you kind of figured that out. Manufacturing was up there, but it wasn't right at the top. There were lots of other stuff that is more affected by automation than you thought. Okay, so I'm going to skip on because, except it won't let me skip on. Come on. Right, so then I looked at another piece of research which was done this year, jobs at risk from social distancing in 2020. And again, this was also CEDIFOP actually. And they looked at the ones that were at risk, and they're things like accommodation, it's over here, accommodation, wholesale, retail, care workers, sales workers, all of that. So You kind of picked up on that, the sort of food prep. I think retail, food services, accommodation, cultural isn't showing in here, but I think it's becoming more apparent now and more recently that it is. Now, is it going to? Yes, okay, so at least it's allowed me to move on from my slide. So, I mean, the bottom line is that there are a bunch of professions that are really, really highly at risk from both. And this is where we're in this sort of magic COVID land with a perfect storm of basically both ends of the spectrum being hit. You've got construction, agriculture, manufacturing, retail, food prep, and at the same time, then all the accommodation, wholesale, retail, care work, sales, all of these things are the ones that are most at risk. And the ones that are least at risk are, surprise, surprise, science, engineering, public admin, ICT. So if you needed to have a kind of picture of where this crisis has left us, it's left us with kind of the whole scale of things in one way or the other. All of this lot is at risk because the stuff that's at the top of this list is at the top of the next list. Stuff that's at the bottom of this list is at the top of the next list. So it's really kind of difficult for us to sort of be able to say there's a single area. The only thing we can say safely is that IT is the solution to all of these challenges to jobs. Okay, now I was going to go back to Menti, but frankly it's pointless because there's so few of you, we can do it all in one, so we don't need to go back to Menti. We're going to do breakout groups that aren't breakout groups because we're not going to bother breaking out. I think, and let me just check to see if anybody has sent me any. Okay, where are we time-wise? We've got 10 minutes left. Right, so we kind of wanted to open this up, and I'm just going to end the. There's two sets of questions, and it's not showing them on the screen again. For some unknown reason, it wants permission every time to share my screen, even when I move from one slide to the next. So we've got two sort of bits of discussion, but frankly, I think one of the things that I would like to do is just open this up for questions again, because we've not really got a huge amount of time. These are some of the questions that we wanted to discuss with you. So having seen what I've just presented to you, what do you think in your countries we should be targeting, or you should target or could target? The audiences, the tools, the skills, all of these things. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you think should be covered? And if it's going to let me, no, it's not. If you were to join into some sort of program where digital SkillShift on a kind of wider level was kind of spread out, what would be the benefits for your organization? What would be the barriers to you joining? Could you envisage delivering it entirely online, as we've had to do for this project? Can you envisage anything else? Do you think there would be demand or something different? So we prepared a bunch of questions. We started a bit late. We've taken a bit long. So we've not got a great time, but I just kind of want to open it up for questions from you, and I'm going to go back to this and see if I can see any questions. There's no particular questions yet in the chat. But if you want to raise your hand, and it's annoying you can't see both the chat and the participant at the same time. If you have any questions, please raise your hand, or want to make a suggestion, or you found your cat and you want to show us your cat. That's another possibility. If anybody has found a pet, nobody's found a pet. Okay.
Do I understand correctly that you want us to answer? any of these questions?
Well, yes, we really have. Yes, you do. We do want you to answer any of those questions or ask those questions of us or talk about anything that is relevant to any of that stuff.
Yeah, because of the time difference, we have to do our job, and I have to really leave soon. But I would say that regarding question 3, I would say that in the future, if we have a project in which we develop digital skills, so we would do it, both ready to do it directly, but always have plan B, in which you have to be ready to move easily online, and maybe take, this possibility to deliver training online entirely.
Yeah.
Ideas. Yeah, and if we speak about the COVID, period, which was the most difficult thing, so I think for managers it was the most difficult time, and and what I noticed from my side, that we had some misunderstanding, because when you look into everybody's eyes and you talk about what you have to do, or discuss, so it's easier, when you see people not only writing, every task, discussing.
Yeah.
I agree with
just
you.
About barriers, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, guys. That was really very interesting, and I'm so sorry you have to leave, but wish you all the best, and see you later in summer.
Yes, Loretta, it was very nice to have you here.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining. Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Hopefully see you next year in person.
Yes. Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions or things they wanted to pick up on? Any of those questions that I will try and share again, but I don't suppose it's going to. Come back. No, doesn't want to do it. Can you see my screen? No, I don't think you can. Some unknown reason. You can. Okay. So, yeah. Is there anybody who would be interested in getting involved in delivering such a program?
I can totally recommend it, of course.
I'm sure.
But I mean, maybe we can leave some conversation here open in Teams, or anyway, you can write us later.
Yes, indeed.
And we are happy to explain more or give you some advice.
Yeah. I think what we wanted to sum up at the end by just explaining where we are in the project. So we're kind of halfway through the training delivery now. We're going to be carrying on training delivery through September, October, November, probably finishing up in December. Then we'll be writing the report and kind of summing up and tidying up. So the project is due to end sometime in the spring of next year. We've agreed an extension with JP Morgan for the project, which should have ended at the end of November. So there's a period of time where we've extended the training out so that we can try and reach as many people as possible. But we definitely want organizations to be involved in Digital SkillShift in the future, and we want to try and understand how it could be used, how we can use this curriculum, how we can share it, how we can make it more widely available. And I think All Digital will think about how to do that over the coming weeks and months. But one thing that I think is for certain, and we'd hoped it would have happened this year, which would be for it to be as sort of used as part of All Digital Week. But All Digital Week was badly affected by COVID this year, so that didn't happen. But we very much would like it to be in All Digital Week next year, assuming that the world is not kind of upside down again. But I think one of the things that I wanted to just close with is the sort of premise behind the project, which is about employability and about one of the most important reasons why we use technology is because it empowers us to to have fulfilling work lives, and it empowers us to control of our kind of, to some extent, our, not destiny, that sounds too strong a word, but it gives us a lot of control over our lives if we are in control of our job. So it's really, really crucial to so many people. And I think it was said earlier in the previous session, actually, that I think it's very easy to assume that everybody has technology when we are, as professionals, using technology on a daily basis. And I think everybody has that, and they don't, and they need help, and they come out of school, and despite the best efforts and intentions of schools and even universities, they don't come out knowing how to use Basecamp, and they don't come out knowing how to use WordPress, and they don't come out knowing how to use all of the tools that we've developed in this project. So that's kind of the message from me, but the message from the project really is, if you can do that and you can master it and you can own it, then you're doing okay. And yet another of the 1940s promotional video photographs from the Second World War. This woman clearly owns that machine. She is fully in control of it, and that's what I want people to sort of believe that they can do as well, that they can be in charge of the machine that they thought might take their job. Anyway, okay, look, thank you all for participating. It started off a bit slowly. We picked up speed. I'm hoping that you've all gained something from this and understand something more about the project. Well, I think as was said a moment ago, we're going to leave the chat here open so you can post things and add things and ask questions. And if you want us to get in touch, then you can do so through this chat. And we'll follow up with you after the summit. So Nenja, did you have anything else you want to add?
No, thank you from my side. Actually, it was a pleasure to be here in the workshop. And as Ian said, please let us know if you have any questions, and we will make sure to answer them.
Yeah, and can I just also thank Louisa as well for contributing and joining, and the trainers and the trainees who gave their time to produce the video and talk to you and all of that. So yeah, thank you, Louisa. Thank you, Nenja.
Thank you, Ian.
Okay, thanks a lot. I think we are done, and that's it. And I think you've got a short break now. I'm so disappointed we didn't get any pets. Has anybody? Nobody has got a pet. Come on. Somebody must have a pet somewhere.
Yeah, there's one in the chat.
Is there one in the chat?
Yeah. But yeah, thank you, Ian. Thank you, Nenja. Thank you, everyone.
Hey.
Just to wrap it up, the next workshop round starts at 20 to 12. You can choose between 4 workshops: how to crowd dream in the heritage/digicomp room, digitization in rural communities in the future workshop room, key competences for smart city stakeholders in certification, and augmented learning in lessons. But yeah, we all take a bit of a break and then we continue. Thank you all.
See you all in the future workshop, of course.
Of course.
Oh,
okay.
Ciao.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.